Okay, so I don't want to waste any more time. So let's just get straight to it. Jeremiah the 7th chapter, 22 and 23 read, For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. But this thing commanded I them, saying, Obey my voice, and I will be your God, and you shall be my people. Walk you in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well with you. Now, what we are reading is a very important key to unlocking one of the greatest mysteries in the Bible. Burnt offerings and sacrifices are the centerpiece of the first covenant, and without them there is no forgiveness of sin. Neither is there a Levitical priesthood. So if it was not the Most High who gave Moses burnt offerings and sacrifices, then who did? Walk with me real quick. Let me show you something. Exodus 18, and we're going to start off reading verses 1 through 12. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that the Most High had done for Moses and for Israel his people, and that the Most High had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I have been an alien in a strange land, and the name of the other was Eleazar. For the God of my father, said he, was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he encamped at the mount of God. And he said unto Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am come unto you, and your wife and your 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance, and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Most High had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Most High delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness of the Most High, which the Most High had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who had delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who had delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in this thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And Aaron came, and all the elders of Israel, to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. So first I want to point out that Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, prepared burnt offerings and sacrifices with Moses, Aaron, and the elders, and they also ate bread. To eat bread means to partake in doctrine. To eat leavened bread means to eat doctrine with deception, because leaven represents yeast, and yeast will cause your bread to swell or manipulate it into making it seem as if it's greater than what it really is. Then you have the unleavened bread, which is sincerity and truth. Then you have manna, which is described as angels' food. And these are revelations directly from the Most High, because angels don't read doctrine. Angels are the messengers of the Most High, and they receive their directions directly from the Most High. Then you have bread and wine, which is spiritual doctrine, which I like to call soul food. So within this parable, it can be said that the bread which Jethro fed Moses, Aaron, and the elders with was his priestly doctrine. But let's keep going. Verses 13 through 20. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he had did to the people, he said, What is this thing that you do to the people? Why sittest you here alone, and all the people stand by you from morning to evening? And Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people came unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come to me, and I judge between one another. And I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, This thing that you do is not good. You shall surely wear away, both you and this people that is with you. For this thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to perform it yourself alone. Hearken now unto my voice, and I will give you counsel, and God shall be with you. Be you for the people to Godward, that you mayest bring the causes unto God, And you shall teach them ordinances and laws, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. And so here we have Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, telling him, hearken unto my voice, and I will give you counsel. Now notice how it continued to point out that Jethro is Moses' father-in-law. A father is one who would give you guidance and counsel in spiritual matters, sort of like the early church fathers. But let's go back to Jeremiah the 7th chapter, because we run into our first issue. For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. But this thing commanded I unto them, obey my voice. And so see, we have the Most High stating that he spoke not concerning burnt offerings and sacrifice, but the only thing he commanded them was to obey his voice. And here we have Jethro telling Moses to hearken unto his voice. Now, what he just told Moses to do was to be Godward to the people, that he might take their cause and bring it to the Most High. What he's doing is establishing a physical mediator between the people and the Most High. Moreover, you shall provide out of all the people able men, such as fear the Most High, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto you, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for yourself, and they shall bear the burden with you. And so we also see here that it is Jethro, the priest, who is establishing the office of judges as well. But who is Jethro? Verse 1 says that he is Moses' father-in-law or his spiritual counselor. And it also states that he is a priest of Midian. Now to get more background on that, we got to go to Genesis 25. Genesis 25 verses 1 and 2 read, Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. So we see that Midian was one of the children of Keturah, Abraham's wife. Now here's an opportunity for me to continue to shed light on women in the Bible representing wisdom. The name Keturah traces to H6989, and it means incense. Now in the root word etymology bracket to the right, it also states that it traces back to H999. Qatar, a primitive root identical with through the idea of fumigation in a closed place, and perhaps thus driving out the occupants. To smoke, i.e. turn into fragrance by fire, especially as an act of worship. Burn incense, sacrifice upon altar for incense, kindle, offer incense, or offer a sacrifice. Now, if it is used as a masculine noun, meaning a masculine person, place, thing, or idea, then it means incense. But if it's used as a feminine noun, meaning a feminine person, place, thing, or idea, then it means incense and altar. So the wisdom of Keturah is the wisdom of burnt offerings, sacrifices, burning of incense, and burning sacrifices on the altar. You see, the woman is the first teacher of the child, which means Midian is a reflection of his mother. And the priest of Midian will reflect the wisdom of Keturah, which will be the wisdom of sacrifices, burning incense, and burnt offerings on the altar. So up to this point, we see Jethro breaking bread or providing counsel for Moses, Aaron, and the elders, who basically represent the government of Israel in the wilderness. And we have burnt offerings and sacrifices. We have Jethro establishing Moses as a physical mediator. We have Jethro counseling Moses to teach Israel ordinances and laws. And we also have Jethro establishing the office of judges and setting up captains of 50s, hundreds, and thousands. All of this is taking place prior to the nation of Israel hearing the voice of the Most High. Now let's get over to the 19th chapter, verses 16 through 22. Because what we have now is the Most High spoke to Moses and told Moses to get the nation of Israel ready, have them ready against the third day, because now he is about to present himself to the nation and allow them to hear his voice. But there's something else I want to point out before we get to that part. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightning and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of a trumpet, exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with the Most High. And they stood at the neither part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on smoke, because the Most High descended upon it in a fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace. And the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and the Most High answered him by a voice. And the Most High came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mount. And the Most High called Moses up to the top of the mount. And Moses went up. And the Most High said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Most High to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near unto the Most High, sanctify themselves, lest the Most High break forth upon them. Who are these priests? And under what order are these priests? And what God do these priests serve? Because at this point, the children of Israel had not met with the Most High. There was no office of priests that had been established. So not only do we have burnt offerings, sacrifices, the office of judges, a physical mediator between the Most High and the people, ordinances and laws, and the office of judges, but here we also have priests already established, already set up prior to any commandment being spoken or anything being established by the Most High. And so now the Most High is about to let his voice be known unto the nation of Israel. And this is what he say. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Most High, your power, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other power before me. You shall not make unto you any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is on the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself unto them, nor serve them, for the Most High your power is a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate him, and showing mercy unto the thousands of them that love him and keep his commandments. You shall not take the name of the Most High in vain, for the Most High will not hold you guiltless that take his name in vain. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath day of the Most High. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor the strangers that are within your gates. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Most High your power give you. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his maidservant, nor his manservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. So when the Most High caused his voice to be heard, what he spoke was what we know as the 10 Commandments. These were the vows that the original covenant was established on. Exodus 20 verses 18 and 19. And all the people saw the thundering and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak you with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And so Israel chose to hear the voice of Moses instead of obeying the voice of the Most High. They chose the law of Moses instead of a spiritual connection with the Most High, which was their birthright and the basis of the original covenant. So now we're going to jump over to Exodus, the 19th chapter, verses 5 and 6, because this is the Most High speaking to Moses, telling Moses to go back and let the children of Israel know this is the basis of the covenant that he wants to make with them. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. See, this was the original covenant with the Most High to the children of Israel, that they will be a holy nation, a kingdom of spiritual priests, reflecting the celestial powers and creating a ladder from the spiritual world through the celestial world down to earth, which is the true definition of your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. So if the covenant was for Israel to become a kingdom of priests instead of one tribe ruling over all the rest, and burnt offerings and sacrifices, judges, A mediator, priest, ordinances, and laws was established by Jethro, Moses, Aaron, and the elders before ever seeing the Most High, then what was the covenant that was established by Israel in the wilderness? You see, the story of Aaron, the golden calf, and the plague of Israel in Exodus, the 32nd chapter, was a parable showing that it was the priesthood of Aaron, which was the Levitical priesthood, that caused Israel to fall. And so after the children of Israel fell due to breaking the original covenant by worshiping another god and bowing down to an idol, Moses mediated between the people and the Most High. And this is what we read in Exodus, the 34th chapter, verses 8 through 10. And Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshiped. And he said, "If now I have found grace in your sight, O Lord, let my Lord, I pray thee, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for an inheritance." And he said, "Behold, I make a covenant. Before all the people I will do marvels, such as have never been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which you are shall see the work of the Most High, for it is a terrible thing that I will do with this people." Now pay attention, because the confession is about to be made. Ezekiel, the 20th chapter, verses 22 through 26. "Nevertheless, I withdrew my hand. I was wroth for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted in the sight of the heathen, in whose sight I brought them forth. I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would scatter them amongst the heathen, and disperse them throughout the countries, because they had not executed my judgments, but had despised my statutes, and had polluted my Shabbats, and their eyes was after their fathers' idols. Wherefore I gave them also statutes that was not good, and judgments whereby they should not live." And I'm going to repeat that again. "Wherefore I gave them also statutes that was not good, and judgments whereby they should not live. And I polluted them in their own gifts, and that they caused to pass through the fire all that openeth the womb, that I might make them desolate to the end, that they might know that I am the Lord." See, under the second covenant, Israel was given statutes and judgments that was not good. You see, as I stated before, the Bible is a mystery book. It is a book of initiation, and there are multiple voices within this book. Hebrews 4:12. "For the word of the Most High is quick," or alive, "more powerful than any two-edged sword, piercing to the dividing of soul, spirit, joints, and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart." Jeremiah 6:21. "I will lay stumbling blocks before this people, and the fathers and the sons shall fall upon them." Now, besides the stumbling blocks in the scriptures, you also have multiple voices or teachings weaved together that is also used to test and prove you to see who you will follow. Now, when you read the word spoken by the Most High through Yahshua, it'll make much more sense. John, the 10th chapter, verses 3 through 5. "To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice. And he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And the stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers." John 10, verse 27. "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me,